Welcome to my brand new YouTube channel called Campfire Jubilee. I'll be attempting to thru-hike the entire Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine starting in March 2019. Why am I undertaking this crazy, ridiculous, and strenuous walk all the way from Georgia to Maine when I could just take a flight to Maine and be there in a few hours? Instead, I'm going to take 7 months to walk up and down mountains and through valleys the hardest way possible to get there. So this whole journey started about 20 years ago when I went on my first backpacking trip. I was so clueless. On that first trip, I did not even know what I was doing in the slightest. I took my school book bag with me, just some Jansport bag or something, and tied on my sleeping bag that was, by the way, really huge from Walmart, just with twine, and stuffed some gorp and stuff in my backpack and took off. I didn't have a tent. I didn't have anything. I slept on a tarp with my friends. Didn't have the right shoes probably either. It was a mess. So a few years later, I met some new backpacking friends and they taught me some more important information. I grew in my skills. I got a proper backpack, although it was way too big, and I got a proper backpacking tent, although it was way too heavy, and I began to learn about how to possibly do this. So I got better gear, but I also did absurd things such as bring a full-size contact lens bottle on a weekend backpacking trip, and even, yes, one time I brought a textbook. As far as packing goes, I will show you everything I've learned over the years to better handle the miles on the trail. So don't carry full-size contact lens bottles or textbooks on the trail. So along the way, while I was learning to get a proper backpack and pack more sensibly, I also learned of this wonderful trail called the Appalachian Trail. I believe it was my very first backpacking trip where we did a loop and I actually got to hike on part of the AT. It would have been in Pennsylvania. I don't remember much about that hike on the AT, but I do remember that there was a shelter with a fireplace, with a picnic table that I slept on, and a privy. And I'm going to be very excited to see this place again one day, and I will show you when I find it. So I think that just sort of explains part of the magic behind the AT for me. So while I was backpacking with those friends that taught me to leave my textbooks at home, I also met a guy that had just hiked the Appalachian Trail. And I was pretty perplexed at the idea that he had just hiked all the way from Georgia to Maine. And I couldn't believe it, and he told me about everything that he'd experienced. He told me about sending mail drops to post offices, and he told me about how Georgia is much easier than Maine, and all of this stuff. And he was actually a rather big, strong kind of dude. And so I thought, wow, that's so amazing that he could do that. But certainly a little girl like me, who can't keep up with anyone, certainly wouldn't ever be able to hike the Appalachian Trail. So I imagined that I could never do such a thing. However, it was put in my head right about that time, the first idea of hiking the whole trail from start to finish. Years later in my undergrad, I was taking a developmental psychology class. And in that class, I read about this lady who hiked the whole AT when she retired from her job. And so that sort of changed the idea from, hey, someday I think I want to hike the AT, to, hey, maybe that's how I'm going to do it. I'll just hike the AT when I retire, like this lady. So I eventually got my Bachelor of Science degree in Business Management, and then I moved across the country from Maryland to Texas to pursue my Master's of Arts degree in Biblical Counseling. So I went online and I found a meetup group, and I found this great group called North Texas Outdoors. I met some really great people that were able to really help me refine my gear choices and get rid of a lot of unnecessary things, such as trading hiking boots for trail runners and getting rid of extra random plastic bags and 8,000 other things I didn't need. so that I could get my pack to a place where I could comfortably actually carry it. So I graduated from seminary in my 30s, so I met my goal of education in my 30s, which was a major win. One of the things I did just a few months after graduating was go back to the AT. I went with a friend who organized the trip just coincidentally, but it was pretty amazing to be back out there on my trail. It wasn't Maryland and Pennsylvania where I had been familiar with in West Virginia, but it was the AT, and I was just so overjoyed just to stand on part of the AT again. So in 2017, the plan kind of just came together in my head that I wanted to hike the entirety of the Appalachian Trail in the year that I was 40, which is this year. I was so excited about it, and I started telling everyone right away, hey, I think I'm going to hike the Appalachian Trail in 2019. Also, I began my research, which for me primarily has consisted of YouTube videos. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see people hiking the trail so I could have some idea of what to expect. The name was actually suggested by a friend for something completely different. As I began to consider creating a YouTube channel and vlogging my journey down the AT and all of the other videos that I might come up with, I just really kept remembering that name, Campfire Jubilee. I just sort of knew that that was what it was supposed to be. So first of all, the word campfire is associated with camping and backpacking, unless you're backpacking in an area where there's no fires allowed. But on the AT, I think most of the time there's always fires allowed, except for New Jersey, which I just learned today. Campfires are pretty and special just to represent the camping part of it, the backpacking part. The second part of my name is going to be Jubilee. There's a lot more explanation that goes into the name Jubilee and why it's so extremely important and significant to me. I'll start off with what the dictionary tells us. Actually, you can read more specifically about that in the Bible in Leviticus 25. That's where that comes from. Not living in ancient Israel, that doesn't exactly apply to me in this way, but it is significant. For me, the year is going to be 40 instead of 50. To me, this year is going to be my year of freedom. And it's going to be my endeavor to return to the foundation of who I am and who I'm meant to be. That's going to be no easy task, I'm sure. The primary one right off the bat is going to be to share this experience with my friends and family. This is going to be the journey of the lifetime, and lots of people seem really interested and fascinated in it, which is very awesome of them and means so incredibly much to me. So this is for you. This is to share all of this with you. The second reason for this channel is that I have been extremely impacted by a lot of people in putting together my whole, I suppose, philosophy of backpacking. My routines and all this stuff. I've had a ton of help to learn everything I know as I began to research and plan this journey. So I just want to give back. I feel like it's time to add my voice to all the voices that have helped me. There's a few reasons that I want to give back after I've been given to. A few experiences I've had in my life that have just kind of built that way of thinking, I guess, in me. One is I used to study karate for 10 years on and off, kind of maybe even more off than on. In the karate style I was in, it was called Taekwondo in Maryland. The whole kind of idea there, I don't know if it's like that in other styles, but in mine it was, you learn, it was actually free, and it was in a church, which is a really good deal for me because free is a really good price. So first you learn all the stuff, you grow, learn how to do everything you need to do for each belt, and you learn mentally what you need to learn for that belt. And then, you progress and progress. And by the time you get to the middle, you're expected to turn around and teach the underbelts. Once you get to the middle, that's part of getting to the next level, is to be able to teach the others. So it's just really, really important. And that's kind of laid a foundation in me for other things. In karate, my sensei, or one of the upper belts, used to always say, that you don't even know the techniques. You test for them, get to the next belt, but you don't know them until you start trying to explain them to someone. And that is so true. I plan to just take all of those philosophies to these videos. I've learned and I've gleaned so much from others out there who have been gracious to share their life and their experiences with me. It's my turn to help the next generation of backpackers and potential thru-hikers. And I expect it's going to be the same kind of experience like it was in karate. Once I start kind of trying to explain what I know or why I do things I do and sharing my feelings and emotions over things, I feel like that's how I'm going to start to even understand what in the world I'm doing. So hopefully that's helpful for you. It's definitely going to be an amazing journey for me. So thank you so much for being a part of it. My endeavor this whole time is going to be to try to be very real and totally genuine with you in these videos. I hope that my thoughts can inspire the same way other people's thoughts have inspired me. I just want to encourage you to take what I say that applies to your life. Thank you so much for watching this video. Welcome so much to my channel. And I just really look so forward to what lies ahead for us together.